Hey guys, this is David with the Mortgage Edge podcast brought to you by Click and Close Mortgage. Today, I got a very special guest straight from Florida, Sandra Tavara. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Hey
Hi.
Sandra, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. So what part of Florida are you at?
So I'm in Brevard County. This is like center of Florida on the east side. So we are pretty much on the Space Coast. That's how we call it
Okay,
here.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, you're a dynamic realtor. We've been trying to get hold of you for a while now to sit down and talk about what you're doing to be so successful. But before that, how long have you been a realtor?
So I have been in the business a little bit more than a year. So
A
I'm a very
year.
new agent. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. And
what
you're
did
doing such
oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so what I think I really love what I do to help people moving here and relocated. I'm personally relocated from Peru originally. I moved to Canada in 2018 and then I moved here in 2022. So I love this place and I love to help people to feel like that connection that they feel that they found their home or their place here, which is a great, awesome place. So I love that, and I'm helping people pretty much relocated. A lot of engineers, a lot of young families, seniors, everybody that wants to be here, like to enjoy the weather and a good lifestyle here in the Space Coast.
Well, let's talk about this. There's so much to unpack already. So, an immigrant from Peru migrated to Canada and now landed here in the United States since 2022. And
Yes.
you've only been a realtor a little bit over a year, but yet you
Yeah.
are putting up some phenomenal numbers. Let's talk about that for a second. How the heck? What'd you do before real estate?
So I was interior designer
Uh
my
huh.
my entire life since I was 18. And I always did sales. Pretty much I was doing my business in Peru, like my own studio. So I always had that sales thing like page. I will say like I'll always look for clients and hustle. That was part of my business. So I really good to communicate and I'm very honest about everything. So I think like that's a good advantage in real estate, like always um hustling and try to listen to the people their people needs. At the end, this is more like a job. I feel it's like a service. We help people find one or well help them find and do one of the biggest milestone in their life, which is buying a home. So to me, a lot of my success was that I was able to provide not just like, oh, I'm your realtor. No, this is more like a journey, and you have me forever. It's not just like the 30 days of the transaction. If anyhow you need so many, I don't know, like plumbers or contractors, or you need an electrician or a new AC, you can always look at me, and I will give you all the options because I personally didn't have that when I moved here. So I think like it's good to always um, have someone to rely on and help. So that's pretty much what I do. I give that to my clients.
Well,
That's
someone
Mhm.
didn't tell you that we're in the middle of a little bit of a mortgage craze since 2022. The market's been kind of down. It's been kind of flat. Listings are sitting a little bit longer. There's really not a lot of buyers out there, but yet you're finding lots of buyers. Let's talk about that. I know you work for a brokerage that gives you a lot of leads. Is that correct?
They give me a lot of leads, yes, and I will say that I joined real estate when the market was the worst because it was 2024. And there was a lot of changes in the realtor regulations itself. So there was a lot of learning that I found that it was a great time to start. Why? Because I feel like if I was joining in 2020 when was the high peak, maybe I would feel like kind of like disappointed about the numbers and everything. But because I start from the bottom when it was a bad market, um, it pushed me and want me to work harder to get clients and to be the best version of myself as a realtor. So I think joining in 2024 with um, the interest being like kind of like very high and then start like establish again, I feel like Florida itself, it's a place that you will always find somebody that wants to move here. Like even from snowbirds from Canada, like I have a lot of um sphere there because I was living there for 5 years, so they always plan to be here, even like for rent or to buy on winter. So I think that's always a good amount of people that wanted to come, not only from Canada, but even like the north of US. Um, I think like living in Florida has a lot of advantage and benefits, like being with, we're December and it's super shiny and sunny here. Um, Personally, I love that. I love being a tropical place, and I know a lot of people like that too. Other thing, like I feel it's good about our zone, like Space Coast. It has been growing, but in a way that it was like a hiding gem. Like nobody knows
Hmm.
about this place. But then, of course, after COVID, when all prices increased, everybody were trying to relocate up north from South Florida or even like from the West Coast. I found here there's a lot of potential for growing business. Schools are great. The neighborhoods are very friendly and familiar and safe. So I think like there's a lot of potential in this area that I never seen before. Personally, I didn't even know this area exists. And when I found this place, we were buying a house like high and sick. We didn't know anything. And the moment that we just put our feet over here, I was like, okay, this place is great. Like it has a lot of growing as a family, or if you wanted to just have a, disconnect to the city, disconnect to um all the tension and everything, you can find that here without being so far away. We are an hour away from Orlando, which is great. We are an hour and a half from all the Disney, Orlando parks, everything. So if you want to be like having a feeling of a city, we are an hour away. So it's not like we are in a remote place. We are 3 hours away from Miami. So I think it's a good location for a lot of people, like myself, for example. Like I live in a big city my entire life when I was in Peru. So moving to a place with a small population, I thought it would be like hard, but it's not. Like honestly, you are in a good location. You are an hour away, as I said, from big cities, and you still have that feeling that you have the ocean walks like minutes away. You can walk to the ocean. You can enjoy like the Florida lifestyle, living and and yeah, be happy. I really like a lot of people. I really like living here, and I think a lot of my clients agree with that.
Well, and the biggest thing is affordability, right?
Yeah,
Coming from Canada,
that was the other
housing
thing
in
I
the
was
United
gonna
States
say.
is way cheaper than they are in Canada, and also the affordability across the board. As Florida's, is one of the cheaper places to buy a house. You can
Correct.
first time home buyers can still get into a first time home at a reasonable price.
That's the thing. That's the other thing when because I was living in Canada, and after COVID, everything exploded like astronomical higher for houses that they were in the I don't know 1920s or 900s. So when we moved here, we found affordability was one of the things that we like about this area because you can get a house um, on the east, like, on the beach side, like being like on the island, 'cause that's how we call it. Like you don't have to pass any bridges for, like 450, $500,000, which I don't think that's a reality in any other places in Florida to have the proximity to the coast. So that's a
Right.
big thing, at least for now. I don't know how it's gonna be later, but for now it's still like affordable for a lot of people. For first time buyers, I think that's what they wanted to do, and then trying to get some equity and get their um investments and feel like they're not like struggling with the mortgage payments.
Well, with you being such a new realtor, what do you enjoy most about being a realtor?
I really enjoy meeting people and helping in the um being part of that journey. I think like for me that they trust me and they value my knowledge and value my everything that I can offer to them, that fills my heart like more than any transaction or any numbers. I'm really here to help people to find their place. Personally, I really had a bad experience when I bought a house here with our realtor. So to me it was like I don't want that to happen to anybody that are not familiar with the area. There's a lot of things that a realtor will help you in the whole process that other realtors from, if you work with someone that is out of Florida, they will know. Like for example, the inspection period, like how to get more concessions from the seller, like how to negotiate the best deal. I think you need to find a local person that knows the market. And offering you like help. Honestly, like everything that I do for my clients is for me to, for me personally, is that they can feel that they are doing a great decision without feeling stressed, because that's what I do too. Like I take like all the stress out. Like this is a fun journey. Like you just look for houses, enjoy the process, don't feel stressed. It's a very stressful. Like you can I think that you will be agree with me, like the whole long process, the like the wait, like the anxiety. There's a lot of emotions, and what I try to do is calm them down and take all of that for, I take the transaction and the deal and all the stress, and I want my clients to feel like the fun part and the good part of the process. So I always like to work as a team with everybody. It's not just the realtor; it's the realtor, the seller agent, the lender, the appraisal, the broker. So it's a whole team. So we're trying to. I always try to work in a way that everybody at the end everybody wants the same. They want to close. So I think we are a team. So I always wanted to work and feel like we are a team in the process. I think that helps a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there has to be something that you like the least. What's the least thing you like about being a realtor?
What do I like to be a realtor?
No, what's the least something that you like
Oh,
to be
the
about?
least.
What do you like least about being a realtor?
I will say the least that I like about is when, like the transaction doesn't it fell through. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's like it I as I said, it's a whole emotional process. Like
Yeah.
you can be like, you put an offer, it's accepted, you're in that high peak, and then inspection come, and then everything, like fall through. And there's a lot of ways that a contract can, you can kill the contract by not knowing the things, like, and I think like as a realtor, the way it's guiding the buyers oriented, but always with the best will. You don't want, you want to make sure that it's a good home for them. But yeah, I will say that the least thing that I like is when you are like, like exciting and then fell through for X reasons. Yeah.
Are you seeing one of my big frustration right now as a lender is we're seeing a lot of appraisals not meet value. Are you seeing a lot of that in Florida or no?
Um so what happened is that a lot of sellers, and I think that's what's happening right now, you see a lot of inventory in the market, is because a lot of sellers, they lease their home as it was like a 2020 market.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of realtors, they don't feel um sure. I don't know. I don't think they feel like with the secure to talk about this with their clients and tell them, like, this is not the market for COVID. This is a different market. Um and I think like that will help if they will having that awkward conversation with sellers. I think the market will be like so much different because that's what happened. Like a lot of houses are overpricing, and then the appraisal comes lower, and that can break the deal too. And then it's like more like an ego fight between the seller. Like they feel like their
Yeah.
house value this, and then so there's a lot of emotion, as I said. So I think like um, my advice to other realtors and to everybody like in that is looking here, it's like the market has been changed. Like I don't think you can sell a house and get what your neighbor got in 2020 or 2021, because that's not going to happen. But again, you still build equity because you bought a house probably 20, 10, 30 years ago. So it's good to sit down with a realtor, do your comps, listen to them, because we're not doing this to be against you. We're doing this because we want to sell your home. So this is a team thing. Like you want to sell, I want to sell your home, but we have to do it in a way that is realistic. And I think like if we were having that and have that tough conversation, we can put even like reduce the days on the market, because right now a lot of inventory are making, and it's even bad because if you see a house in the market for more than 150 days, you might think there's something wrong with the house, and that's not the case. It's just overpriced. So yeah, that's what happened. And I think like that's a lot of I think it's a lot of education that we need to provide to people as in our field, like educate it and make them know that how the market is and how the market is going to be next year, which it looks good. It looks like, I think the interest rate are going down, so that's going to attract more buyers in the in real estate. So I think that's going to be good. So I think like we're trying to establish the market and trying to be in in a good financial position for everybody. Yeah.
Well, as a buyer's agent, because you do a lot more buying than you
Yeah,
do
I do a
listing,
lot more buyers.
what's the
Yeah.
number one thing that makes a buyer instantly trust you? What do you do
I
to
think
build that
is
trust? What's the number one?
so I think, of course, is having a conversation first. I always call them and then trying to do an in-person meeting. And what I do is like, as I said in the beginning, I like to listen to what they want. Like I think a lot of people feel like they know more because they are a realtor, and sometimes you just need to hear the other person. So I always trying to listen their needs, they want, their criteria, what are they looking for, um, and then create a strategy to find the place. Because at the same time, I think like every we wanted to find a house without having that bad feeling like, oh, we saw like 20, 30 homes and we can find the one. So I find a strategy that, okay, this is, and I'm very honest since the beginning. Like, this process is going to take us probably, like 60 days, depends of, when you want to buy. If they are looking to buy directly, like immediately, I said, like, it's going to take a process. We have to see at least this amount of homes before make a decision because you wanted to see the area, get to know yourself, because a lot of people, as I said, a lot of buyers, they're not from here. So I think like being honest, telling like the way that I work, like being available and always like willing to respond. I work all the time. I don't think I have a time. Like they can call me at 10 p.m. and I will respond. So I always say like communication is key. And sometimes they have questions and they don't want to tell you because they find like it's a silly question. And I always say like, whatever you have in your mind, tell me, because that will help me guide you to the best way or the best home that you wanted to get. Like, don't hide anything. So I always like giving my phone number, I giving my email. I send them like a lot of options through through my CRM, and then I book showings, and then I think we established that. I think the main thing is create a relationship with your client. Like, check it out, like ask for things. Because if you don't, then there's so many other realtors in the market that they will
Oh,
find
that's why
someone.
you're so successful. You build that relationship and the trust factor. Trust
Yeah.
is definitely your go-to. What's something you tell every first-time buyer that kind of surprises them? What that they don't know?
So a lot of things they don't know is the whole process to buy a
Yeah.
house. Like they don't know what are the next steps. They don't know like to when the offer is accepted, to get the earnest money, to get the inspection, to get everything. Like there's a lot of things, and it's okay. You don't need to know. That's why we're here. But they get like there's a lot of steps that they have to do. So I always try to guide them to explain everything, even in the first meeting. Like, this is how it's going to be. There's this time of period for the earnest money. They don't know about the earnest money too. So that was like one of the things I deal with them a lot. This is the time for inspection. This is the time for appraisal. Your loan is going to be accepted, but either writing like this time. So I try to schedule everything so they know. And the other thing is for me, as personally, I think for you will be the appraisal. For me, the thing that they don't know is the inspection.
Yeah.
Um, we have a lot of houses here that are old. They are from the 50s or from the 60s. So when you see the inspection report, it's going to be so many like items that a lot of people get cold feet because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with all of these. So I think like what I do is I try to be honest and think you're not buying a new home. All homes has their things. They have to get maintenance. They have to get some sometimes recommendations. But as long as it's not a big hazard that will blow your roof away, or like there's a damage leak or something, like it will be like very bad for your house. There's always ways to negotiate, get correct. I'm trying to orientate them because
Mhm.
even a new home, a new construction can have issues. So um, I think that's a lot of things that buyers ask me for when they buy a house and it looks so nice, and then it's like, oh, what is all of this? So I'm trying to orientate about the like it's not like your house is gonna blow away. It's just like you're buying an old home that needs maintenance, and you live on the beach side. Living on the beach side, you need to maintain your house regardless. It's you take the having the advantage to live so close to the beach means that you have to get a lot of maintenance and take care of your home too, because there's a lot of things that naturally you need to do. Yeah.
It is intimidating because when you talk
Yeah.
about a 50 or 70-year-old house,
Yes.
of course, there's going to be minor stuff that needs to be done on there. And with those inspection reports, they go through with a fine tooth comb and list everything, whether it needs it or not. Hey, this needs painting. This needs that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it. Just they are very thorough at what they do, and it can be very scary if someone's not holding their hand to tell them, "Oh, no, that's okay. These are things you should fix, and these are things that you can wait on or whatever." So,
Yes.
with that being said, what's the craziest deal you've ever closed? How'd you pull it off? You have a crazy story for us?
I do. I do have a crazy
Yeah.
story. I think like everyone is gonna tell you a crazy story, but I think like the one that was like an impact for me in my career was I met this family. They wanted to buy a first. I think that was their first home here, but it was completely different. They were living in North Carolina, so they like this cottage feeling in Florida. So I was like, okay, there's options here. Like you don't have to be close to the beach to have that feeling. So we looked from Titusville, which is more like a like kind of like like cottage, like surrounded by trees, like big piece of land. Um, so we put an offer on this house. Um, a house that it was like 2 acres. So it was, and I think it was for less than $500,000. So it was a good price. We did all the inspection. We did everything. We were on the closing table. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. They wanted that I recommend them some local inspectors, but they wanted to go with someone out of the area. So I was like, at the end, it's your choice. You are. It's your choice. You can do whatever you want. So they do that. The report came. Some repairs were done, but then we were on closing and we were signing everything. And at the moment that we were doing the survey signature, we saw that the house has a septic tank, which the inspection didn't say. And the listing agent, when we were putting the MLS, she wrote that it was public. So what happened was like I was looking the information. There was no documents, anything from the seller to say like it was not public. So sometimes what we do is like you work with a local inspector because they know the area. They will automatically look for the septic tank if they see it. But because this was an out of area, they didn't know the area, so they just did like a normal inspection. And my clients didn't want to buy a house with septic tank because they had that before and it was a bad experience. So when we were there, like the last signature missing was a survey and they indicated it was a septic tank. Um, it was like a bad moment for everyone because they already finished they were renting, so their lease was ending that day, and they already have everything to move out. They didn't want to sign that because they didn't want to have a septic house, but I call immediately the listing agent and I'm trying to tell her, okay, look, this is what happened. Like in your documents, you put that it was pop, and it was a mistake for her. Thank God, like she did the right thing, and we were like, okay, what we have to do, because I suggest what we have to do now is get an inspection for the septic tank, because sometimes, it can be like bad, or it can be like not bad. It can be like that the seller did some renovations. So we did that. We write like a in hand contract there with because she was in the area, so she came by to the title company. It says like like this, we're gonna do like an inspection for the septic tank, and if something goes wrong, like seller commit to give credit. So we did that all over that day at the notary. So what happened was that it needs to be replaced because it was an old septic tank. The seller was able to give them $20,000 for a new one, and at least I think like at the end they loved the house so much that they put aside the fact that it was a septic tank. And to be honest, living in a place here in Florida with the criteria that they wanted, like a cottage feeling, like a lot of land, is gonna be in an area that has septic. They're not the water service, they don't go that like they don't have the public water there. So they were like, okay, we can we can figure out if we're gonna do a new septic tank for at least 15 years. So we did it, and they got their check. They found someone that was able to do it in 90 days, and then I always follow up with them, and they say they love the house. They just they have to do a lot of renovations, a lot of improvement, but all of a sudden was nothing related to the septic tank anymore. But it was a crazy story for me to try to close after like in that moment. But it turns out good, I think, and the key was like I didn't panic. I'm trying to okay, we find a solution. Let's see what's going. Like we trying to get a solution for this issue right now, and thank God everybody was able to help. My part, my side, the seller side, because everybody wants to close the deal at the end. So yeah.
Well, your professionalism has definitely stand out as an expertise. I'm just amazed that you've only been in real estate for a year. You sound like a pro at this.
Oh,
I talk
thank
to realtors all across the country all the time, and you are gonna do phenomenal work. Well, Sandra, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but I know that you have people to go see. What should we have talked about that we didn't talk about today?
I will say, like, I wanted to tell everyone that's looking to buy in Florida or the Space Coast. I believe like this after, well, next year is going to be a good market when right now already. I think that interest rate drop. So I think it's going to attract a lot of buyers and more people here. So if you are, you know, have any questions, have any concerns, you don't know anything about this area and you wanted to have a conversation and talk about, you can always contact me and I will be available to answer any of the questions for the market and what's going on in the Space Coast. I will say like there's a lot of new improvements here, a lot of new developers. We just have a new Trader Joe's in Melbourne. That's huge for us. So I think like there's a lot of things that's gonna come next year. And yeah, stay tuned for Space Coast. Yeah.
Well, I know this. If I'm looking for real estate in the Space Coast area, there's only one realtor I'm calling, and that's Sandra. And if you were listening to this on our feed, you saw her phone number and name go across the lower thirds. If you have any questions about real estate, whether it's buying, selling, leasing, call Sandra. And you can get and you can hang out with her and get all her expert advice. Well, I'm David Nguyen. I'm with the Mortgage Edge podcast. Thanks for being with us today, guys. See you next time.